What's good with you? What's good with you? Peace and blessings to the good energy people. What's going on? We back, part 2. She know the signs. She's very aware of the signs. Don't get it twisted. But she chooses to ignore the signs. Yeah, part 2. What's going on with you? Much love. Please do me the favor, like and share the page. We're going to get right to it. Let me share myself real quick. And we're going to get right to it. What's good? How y'all doing? Much love and respect. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. She's aware of all the red flags, all the signs, but she chooses to ignore them. Yeah. Do me the favor, if you can hear me really clear, do me the favor and please press 1. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you so much. And we're going to get started real quick. This is part 2. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Thank you. I appreciate it if you can do that. 1 in the chat. One in the chat, please. If you can hear me and you can hear the music, put a 1 in the chat. Thanks. Can you hear me over there? Nice and clear? All right, cool. Much love and respect to each and every last one of you who tuned in right away. I appreciate it. Those who tuned in right away, thumbs up to you. Much love. Yeah. She know all the red flags. What's good with you, Mike? How you feel? Much love, brother. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you. Good afternoon to you too, my brother. How you doing? How's the family? And how's everything going? I know you still working, making it happen. And you know, you was always a hustler, provider, and all that good stuff. So shout out to you and Happy New Year to you, my brother Mike. Don't forget to pick up the Supreme Sunshine Shea Butter. Powder Fresh is rocking. Yeah. Don't forget. So, as we discussed earlier in the first part 1, we talked about how this young lady who just came into contact with somebody she was dating, and she met him on one of the dating sites, and she basically, you know, was explaining how she basically really got caught up into this guy because he was telling her this, telling her that. And what we heard earlier, she really checked all her boxes. She checked all her boxes as far as how this dude look, excuse me, his height, you know, he said the right things. So basically, she was caught by the hook. He threw a hook out there and he reeled her in. All right, he reeled her in. And most times you have guys out there, they do this for a sport. And this is to the young women, to the young ladies coming up. You have to be careful because sometimes you will get bamboozled by some guys who claim that he is this and that. And sometimes they're going to check your boxes. You know, they're going to check your boxes because a lot of women tend to deal on feelings. And once they feel something, you know, they run with that. And there are a lot of guys out there, again, they do this as a sport. Let me be the one to tell you. It's done as a sport. This young lady have about maybe a lot of different situations she talked about, and we're going to get right to it. And this is going to be part two. So I'm watching it like you're watching it with you, like you're watching it with me. And if you haven't seen this, I need you to keep your ears and eyes on this. All right. What you say, Mike? Mike said I was looking at that, and yeah, she's married him. Yep, and regretted it. Of course, brother. Of course, you know how it go. So this is part two for those who haven't seen it. Let's go. Okay, thank you for letting me know that Deb and Mike, you can't hear the sound of her. Okay, we're gonna check that right now. Give me 1 minute. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear that now. You can hear it now? Hear it now? Okay. Let me rewind that real quick. Thank you for giving me the heads up on that. The sound on now? For her, can you hear her sound? No, okay, you can't hear her sound. All right, let me check it out one more time. I don't know.
So we both put on the table what it is that we wanted. We both had established we were dating for marriage. We were not dating.
Um, can you hear the sound of the young lady now? You hear her? Huh? One, two. Check, check. Okay. Is it back in? Is it went out?
That John was talking about.
Really?
And my wife tonight. And I thought.
Oh wow. It was on and then it went out. Okay.
what it was like living in California,
She
how
said
he
yes
went out
now.
there. He
No
went
one
to
out.
San Diego State.
I'm getting
He played
confused.
football
Mixed
for
signals.
San Diego State. He talked about how, life, he loved it out there, so he stayed. That's when he joined the company. And then he explained that he also did arena football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on
Can you? Okay,
won
good. Can you? You
a
can hear it now.
championship.
Okay, you
But
can hear it
again,
now.
keep in mind,
All right, thanks. I'm gonna start this over real quick. I'm sorry about that, y'all.
Okay, I didn't know they had championships. And he was like, he got a little offended, like, yeah,
So
they
we're
got
going back
championships.
to-
And, he
It's still there?
was on
We're
that
going
team.
back to
So,
a little
it was
earlier.
Amazon.
Just a little bit.
But again, keep in mind, idolship. But again, keep in mind, I can't remember the song. I just remember, dude. He was like, I want
Starting
to
all
get
over,
married.
y'all. Thank you for chiming in.
For real.
Thank you for being
We
patient.
were married 40 plus years before my mom passed away. And I want that. I want marriage, family, a house. Like, that is what I want. He's like, I'm as a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real, because the first time, it really hurt me when she cheated on me. So he's telling me everything that I wanted to hear.
Like I said earlier in the first part, she basically explained, like she just said, he mentioned everything she wanted to hear, and that was definitely hitting her feelings, hitting her emotions. So she definitely went with it. So he put that hook out there and she grabbed it. I like the fact, once again, that she's transparent and she is trying to be, or being honest as she could. Let's go on.
And so he was like, what is it that you want? And I said pretty much the same thing. I was like, I'm ready to get married, definitely want to have a family, and I want to marry my best friend. So we both put on the table that we wanted marriage. And this is the end of part 1.
All right, we're going into part 2, y'all. For those who haven't checked it out yet.
Part 2. So we both put on the table what it is that we wanted. We both had established we were dating for marriage. We were not dating just to date. We were not trying to be friends with benefits, none of that. So the dinner at Cheesecake Factory went really well. We laughed, we joked, we talked about people, which is kind of up my alley, my sense of humor.
Now let me just say this real quick, not to cut it off, but I'm gonna definitely let her cook. But I want to just say this real quick. Now, this is to those who are the young women who are intelligent, who have great education, who sing. Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me? No? Okay. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Can you hear the music? But you can't hear me at all. Do you hear me now? All right. I'm sorry. Excuse me for a minute, y'all. So I was having a conversation real quick. But listen, those who are intelligent, those who are wise, those who are book smart, those who went to college, those who never really, the females who never was on the street, who never hung out, who never was in that hood life or what the case may be, which is a good thing. But you are the ones that you are the ones that those who play this game is after. So you got to be careful because you are considered a square. All right, you are a square woman, and some of the cats that got game, that's who they are coming for. It's a sport to them. All right, it's a sport. Just know that.
It was a good vibe. So at the end of the day, or excuse me, at the end of dinner, we sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. I don't know the name of the song by the time this video posts, I will put the name at the bottom. I can't remember the song. I just remember that John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight.
See, that was the game. That was part of the game. He actually wooed her. You know, this was a part of his manipulation, because she already put her feelings on the table. So he did as well. He just went on what he already know about some women, especially women that he feel don't get that type of attention from a guy who's 6'5" and handsome. He already realized that when she saw him, it was like, whoa. She was already souped up. Remember, at the beginning, she mentioned how when he came to fix her tire out on whatever highway that was, when she saw him, she was blown away. And you know that he seen and picked that up, that she was mesmerized, okay? Because she was all in her feelings, because basically he checked off those boxes that she been growing up with all her life since a little girl. She wanted that knight in shining armor, that guy's gonna come and protect her, and this tall, and you know what I'm saying? So he fit the bill all the way around. All right. So as I said earlier, if he was some ugly dude, it wouldn't have went this way, especially in COVID. Me and someone else was talking earlier. During that COVID time, this woman who is a square was lonely. And now here comes a man who checks her boxes. Oh, it's going down. All right? Listen up.
And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh my God. So anyway, we ended up sitting in the car talking just about life and experiences until about midnight. So during this conversation, he again is telling me how it was, you know, what it was like living in California, how he went out there, he went to San Diego State, he played football for San Diego State. He talked about how, you know, life, he loved it out there, so he stayed. That's when he joined the company. And then he explained that he also did arena football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on won a championship. But again, keep in mind, I don't know anything about arena football. So I was like, okay, I didn't know they had championships. And he was like, you know, he got a little offended, like, yeah, they got championships. And, you know, he was on that team.
Now, he knew you didn't know nothing about that team. He knew you didn't know nothing about that type of football. He knew that right off the bat. You know, there's nothing, like I said, this man may have, and there are men like this who does this as a sport. And I'm just trying to pull some of the younger ones' coat who are squares. All right, now remember she said she was like, woo, she was blown away. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. Keep her emotions in mind. She has a great deal of emotions and feelings because she is mesmerized right now, okay? Just keep that in mind.
So he talked to me about how he worked at Apple. He worked something in the IT area of Apple.
Also, just as a reminder, in the beginning of this situation, he told her too much too soon. That's a red flag that's burning with smoke coming from it. Okay? He told her too much too soon. On the first phone call, he was telling her everything about his life. Too much of everything. That's a red flag. Young ladies, listen up.
But it was in the store. Again, it was one of those, it's like when I tell people I used to work at Amazon. I really wasn't paying much attention to it. Why? So, we talked about all that. We talked deeply into what happened with the ex-wife. It's because I just, and he was like, you know, he got a little offended, like, yeah, they got championships. And, you know, he was on that team. So, he talked to me about how he worked at Apple. He worked something in the IT area of Apple, but it was in the store. Again, it was one of those, it's like when I tell people I used to work at Amazon. I really wasn't paying much attention to it. Why? So we talked about all that. We talked deeply into what happened with the ex-wife. It's because I asked. He was not volunteering all this information. So in other words, I get very uncomfortable when men start talking about their ex a lot. That's not
Another red flag. Talking about his ex a lot. Okay, let's see what she said if he really mentioned a lot of things about the ex, okay?
what happened. I was asking questions. I was really trying to figure out, okay, are you ready for a relationship, or are you still missing her? So we talked about it. We talked about my exes. That was a mistake I made because I talked about how I dated at one point in time somebody I worked with. That will come back later. And he seemed real cool about it. He's like, that was before me and blah, blah, blah. So the conversation was good. Midnight comes and I go home. Yes, I went home. We ended up talking. Mind you, our first date was March 7th. And within about 2.5 weeks, Brian Kemp, our governor, shut Georgia down. We were going to be on lockdown. So during those 2.5 weeks, we talked every day. We went out again at Red Lobster. I remember Red Lobster. But everything was going great. The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? So the question was, are we going to quarantine at his place, which he had like a studio type of situation. Like, it clear where he was staying. I was like, it's like a studio apartment, but he kept telling me like, this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like, he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company where she was out on maternity leave, but she was putting him in contact with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house. So I was just like, okay, this is definitely temporary. Like, he's not trying to stay here long term.
A lot of game. He's on point. He's setting up real good.
She was apologizing in an email. I'm so sorry, this should have been taken care of before you got here, but it wasn't. I saw the email. I read it. I read the email. So the decision was, are we going to quarantine at the studio, or are we going to quarantine in my house?
Now, just think. What do y'all think they quarantine at? Put it in the comment board. Where do you think they quarantine at? I'm gonna give you about maybe eight seconds. Go ahead, put it down in the comment board. Where do you think they quarantine at? Especially those who didn't see it. For those who already seen it, don't even mention it. Okay? Where do you think they quarantine at? Mike, what you think? Deborah, her house. Exactly.
First mistake I made. Well, there's a lot, but this was a mistake I made. So ladies, caution moment. During one of our dates, because keep in mind, in those 2 weeks, we were seeing each other quite a bit. Nothing physical or anything like that. Just two people who I thought were really on some, all right, let's see if this is going to grow into something. He came to my house. When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhome. He was in a studio. Now, I'm telling you guys all of this in order of how it happened. So some things I'm probably going to insert what I was thinking and the mistake I made. Can I turn this off? No. Okay, so that. And I say that to say that I did not realize inviting him to my home probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a kid.
All right, another red flag. She already aware that this guy is living in the studio. And when he came into that house, she imagined, he was like, whoa, I can definitely quarantine up in here for a little while, you know what I mean? While I making her believe I'm waiting to buy this house. A little square over there. She got a square right on her head. You know what I mean? He actually see that. He can see that. Now, here's the thing women have to digest. Here's a man who was 6'5", handsome, sharp. Not saying she is an ugly woman. She's cute. She's a little overweight. But you have to think to yourself, why me? Hold up. This dude 6'5", handsome, got money, this, that, and the third. He picking me out of all the women in the world. Now I know when she seen this man, she was like, whoa, I guarantee you a lot of women are chasing him. But yet and still, she got that square in her forehead.
She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhouse, and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this.
Exactly, Deborah. It's definitely like making love to the brain. Straight brain humping. Yeah.
I need to do the quarantine here. The decision was made, quarantine at my house. So the state went on lockdown. He came and stayed with me in my home. And for the most part, in the initial beginning, it was fine. It was fine.
Well, I hear you say, I hear you, Adrian. You said, I think it's unfair to say she should ask why. Why do you think it's unfair to ask why me? See, that's what makes people call some people delusional, because you're supposed to ask why. What made him choose me after all these years? I never had a dude that looked like this, that has this type of caliber and has this type of money as she had. You know, when you're going to see, I guess you're going to see this. What made him come after me? You have to ask why. This way you won't get bamboozled. And that's the reason why a lot of chicks, some women, some females get bamboozled and some don't.
The reason why I hesitate is because I grew up in the church. So for me, it was really like an internal struggle of, bruh, you always said you would never live with a guy unless he was your husband.
Wow. So she even broken her boundaries. She even went against what she believed or what she said she was not going to do, but she actually did it. And yes, Adrian, she says just because she is a plus size woman doesn't mean she isn't worthy. Oh, that's true. I never said that, but you got to think, out of all of the years you went through life and you always have had average men, now all of a sudden, do you think it's not right to ask yourself, why now I'm getting this above average man? I'm older. I'm heavier. Now, mind you, think about this. And I'm going to keep it real with you. This is for the young ladies. You don't get too many handsome tall men to deal with women that is a little on the heavy side. You don't get that many. Not that I'm saying heavy. I'm talking about heavy, but thick and shapely, yes. But she looks heavy. She looks a little heavy. All right. And Adrian says, I think my question would more so be, why is he single if he was all these amazing qualities? Exactly. That's another question. If this man is handsome, he fit all of your boxes, you got to ask yourself the question, why is he choosing me? So it goes back to, when you ask that question, well, what are you saying? Just because she's a little heavier or a big girl or whatever, she's not worthy? No, she just didn't ask that question because, most times, 9 times out of 10, it's something to it. It's something to it. It's just like an average dude. Like, let's see. I'm just going to say a dude who makes $30,000 a year. He's ugly. All right. He's short. Trying to date let's see, Halle Berry. Do you really think, Halle Berry is going to date this dude? So the dude that's looking at a Halle Berry to, come on to him, it's not likely that's going to happen. It's not likely that's going to happen. So if a Halle Berry was talking to that ugly short dude who makes $30,000 a year, he gonna be scratching his head like, hold up, Halle Berry just said hi to me and she feeling me and then walked away. Something ain't right. He gonna say that to himself. Like, hold up, let me go on.
And now you living with a dude and he ain't your husband. Like, it was a struggle for me because I knew better. And don't come for me. I'm just telling you the way I grew up. It was like that. It was not sitting right with me. But at the same time, I didn't want to quarantine by myself. I did not want to.
Now look, she gave him ammo. She basically was showing him and telling him in a way that she's afraid, anxiety probably up during quarantine, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, what you say, Deborah? Plus at the age he figured why she doesn't have anyone. She was bait. She was nothing but bait. And I said earlier in the first one, which is part 1, he threw the hook out there and he seen her bite. Dudes that actually does this, they know the signs. They pick it up. They pick up dudes that got that type of look or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? He is a magnet. He know he's a magnet. He know he a magnet. He know what to look for. The signs of weakness, the signs of insecurity, the signs of wanting to have some type of attention, the signs of wanting that daddy figure, the signs of wanting that protection. He picks that up. He's seen that all in her face. Trust and believe me on that. So Deborah said she asks all men what is their agenda. He's the perfect dude to tell you what you want to hear. He gave you all the daggone things that you wanted to hear. He checked all the boxes because he's used to doing it. You know what I mean? He's used to doing it.
So there we go. So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I said in the other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car insurance. He paid the rent, because my rent at the time was less than $1,000. He paid the utility bills. And so when he's telling me that he's a regional manager, I was like, wow, okay, so you got money. And so he paid all the household bills. So my check really was just taking care of me, myself, and I. And I am not, this is where it's not going to make me look good, but it's the truth. It was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about how to pay the bills. It was a wonderful feeling.
And you don't think he could pick that up? That was an investment for him. He actually said, I'm going to invest. I'm going to give a little something, but I'm going to gain a lot more. He picked up all those emotions in her. And sometimes some women don't get that until it's too late. And then eventually they've been hurt so much, then they'll say things like, you know what? I gave up. I'm giving up on this dating life. I'm giving up on marriage. I'm giving up. You know what? Better yet, I'm going to be, I'm single by choice. That's what happens.
So I kind of pushed to the side the fact that, yeah, you shacking up, because it's like, but your patient, you don't have to worry right now. Like, he's taking care of all of April's bills before April even comes.
That's right, Adrian. She wanted him there. Make no mistakes about it. She wanted him there. Facts.
This was still March. So we're living together, and I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, he's helping to cook and clean, and then we have a conversation about house. Is he still going to buy a house just for him, or is he going to buy a house where it's for us? Because we are going to try to make this thing work, be official, get married, have a family.
Oh, her fantasy is rolling. Her fantasy is rolling. Yeah, her fantasy is on 5,000. She already seen this in her head, like, yo, we gonna make this happen. We gonna make this official. I ain't letting this thing go. No, I am not gonna let this go. Yeah.
So the question now on the table is, what are we going to do? Because I didn't want to stay in Riverdale, Georgia. I did not want to raise a family there. I refused to have a baby in Clayton County. So the decision was made, let's start looking for a house for both of us. Remember, he was already looking for a house for him. But then he was like, you know what, we're together, I plan to marry you. Let's look for a family home.
And how long has this been? Do y'all remember how long it's been? How long has it been before he said, let's start looking for this house, you know, for the both of us? He came up with this idea, or did you also come up with the idea? Let's start looking for, I know I came to look for this house in that area, whatever the case may be. I think, you know what? I want to marry you. A light bulb didn't go off in her head. I want to marry you. So let's look for a house together. How long was it? 2 weeks, Deb. Exactly. You was listening. 2 weeks. I want to marry you. And then you play victim when it don't go the right way. That's what some do. All right. So to the young women, take it from some of the elders. Take it from some of the elders. She's showing you straight up and down. And I appreciate her for being honest, transparent, and vulnerable, and showing what she did was absolutely delusional.
For the two of us. He was like, this is how much I was approved for. That's when he showed me the Chase paperwork. It was a letter stating that and it had the Chase emblem at the top. He showed me a letter stating that he was approved for $700. All right, part 3. Who the fuck did I marry?
So you can always get a letter, right? You can always get a letter to show you're approved for a certain amount of money. You know, you can always get a loan officer, especially if your credit is halfway decent. You know what I mean? You can always get a letter to prove that. So like I said, for him, he's seen square on the top of her forehead. Real talk.
So this is when he showed me a letter from Chase with the Chase logo at the top, stating that he had been approved for a mortgage for a $750,000 mortgage or $750,000 house. So he was like, we can't go over $750,000. And I said, I remember asking him, can you afford the mortgage on the $750,000 house? Because I know I can. This is when he explains to me, I told you how I played arena football. I invested my money really well. So he said, I had money that will help pay for the mortgage. He was like,
yeah, you're right. You're right, Adrian. He probably created a letter himself. I mean, that's a no-brainer. He could have had someone typed it up, or he could have did it himself. They have actual copy-paste letters from loan officers. You know what I mean? And you can just, put your own information in there, and there's the letter. He's seen square on her forehead.
Like, we're good. Like, I'm financially, I am okay. He was like, that's why I'm able to get approved for $750,000 mortgage. So he told me that his money was in different savings accounts. He said he had an account with Chase Bank, he had an account with US Bank, and he had an offshore account. This is what he told me. The offshore account, I was like, why? And he explained something about, the U.S. the U.S. imposes taxes on money when you have a certain amount in U.S. banks. He was like, so everybody knows that it's smart to have some money in an offshore account. Y'all, look, I live paycheck to paycheck. I was like, okay, that's whatever. I said, so you have the money to pay for a home. I'm also holding in my hand a letter from Chase saying that he was approved for $750,000. So I went off of what I saw.
She saw that money. She saw that money.
So we contacted a realtor. I won't say his name, but man, if he ever sees this TikTok, I owe this man such an apology. But we contacted a realtor who was based in Cobb County because I was very adamant I wanted to move back to the Marietta, Smyrna area.
Great point, Adrian. Adrian said, look, she should have known when he claimed to have an offshore account, he was lying.
In Cobb County, Georgia. He was fine with that. His whole attitude was, you're going to be my wife, happy life. So we met.
And she ate that up. And it's okay if he did, but he had a goal.
The realtor, I would find houses that I wanted to tour. Keep in mind that this was COVID. So at the time, we could not tour a home. It would have to be a virtual tour. So this particular realtor, we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. Not Cobb County, but nevertheless it's in Douglasville. I was fine with Douglasville. So we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. The realtor did a FaceTime tour.
Keep in mind, once again, for those who didn't see this, I'm not talking about those who seen this. For those who didn't see this, keep in mind it's COVID.
Of the house. The house was really a nice home. 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. So we did a FaceTime tour of the home, and the home was listed, I believe, roughly 400 and something thousand. I really like the house.
For those who just chiming in and you didn't see this, it is about a series of situations that happened. This young lady met a man, and she's telling the story about how she basically was bamboozled in a sense by this man. And she's starting from the beginning to show you how she met him on a dating site and how everything was going, how they met, and he basically fit or checked off all of the boxes that she felt that she needed in a man. And she just, now this is probably part 3. It's part 3 that she's going into, telling you about what was going on and how basically she been bamboozled and hoodwinked.
See myself living there. I can see us living there. I can see us with the kid there. This is now April, just for timeline purposes.
And once again, she was found him. She found him online, and it's only been a week or 2. I think it's a few days right now. This is 3. I don't know if it's day 3 or just part 3, but it hasn't been long at all. All right.
This is April.
She met him in March 7th.
So he really liked the house. He was like, you know what, we'll put an offer in on the house. He was like, if you like it, because again, it was COVID, we weren't going to be able to see the house in person because the family still lived there. So he said, I'll put an offer in. We'll see if this is acceptable. I said, okay. So he puts an offer in. He's telling me he put an offer in. I need to clarify some things he told me and the things that I actually saw. So for this house in Douglasville, he told me he was putting an offer in. The realtor would call me because one thing that the realtor told us, he was like, if the woman likes the house, typically the house is going to get bought. So he kind of dealt with me a bit more than he did my ex-husband.
Oh, she liked that.
And again, this is April 2020. This is before we got married. So at the time, he was my boyfriend. So the realtor was calling me and was like, hey, you know, I put the offer in, and what they're asking for is proof of the funds. And I did not know anything at this time about buying a house.
And he knew that. I told you in the beginning, he saw a big square on her forehead.
So I was like, hey, you probably need to talk to him because I'm not even listed on the mortgage. Like, from the paperwork I saw, it was only in his name. So he called him. I guess they talked. I was not there, but I'm assuming that they had talked. So the boyfriend is coming, my ex is coming home saying, yeah, I talked to so-and-so, I sent him over the paperwork, the offer was approved, and they are going to try to do a virtual closing. First, we got to do an inspection. If the inspection goes all well, then we have to do a virtual closing. He also told me that he put down earnest money on the home. He put down, I believe, $5,000. He said, I just transferred the money over to the realtor's account or whatever, so that it could be earnest money for the house. So I'm just like, okay, great. He was like, so realistically, this is April. We should be able to get in that house by June. Okay, no problem.
I mean, I don't know. Do y'all think this is so soon? This is kind of like a month and some change by now, right? March. She said, damn, this is weeks, right? Wow, this is only weeks. And they talking about getting a house together and possibly getting married. Whoa, that's a big red flag burning. I'm talking about on fire with smoke coming from it, flames and everything. She knew this was a red flag.
So, this is what he told me. About 3 or 4 days later.
Exactly, Deborah, too damn soon.
I get a phone call from the realtor. And the realtor...
What's good, Amy? Much love, respect. Good seeing you.
Is like, hey, I'm just checking to see what you guys want to do about the house. So I was confused. I'm at work. And I said, I was told that he put an offer in. And the realtor was like, he did? I didn't know that he put an offer in. And I said, well, why wouldn't you know? Like, he told me he put the offer in, and he had paid earnest money, $5,000.
Red flag. She said she was confused. Right away. Another red flag. I mean, I know y'all probably counting some of the red flags so far. You know, maybe a few I missed as part 1. You know, but this is part 3. Yeah, it's a few red flags, man. This thing on fire. Yeah.
$1,000 earnest money. And so the realtor was like, let me call him and find out what's going on with that, because I didn't know anything about it. So
wow. The realtor himself said, let me call him and find out what's going on, because I ain't know anything about it. That's another red flag.
Red flag, of course.
She admitted.
So I call him, and he, in true narcissistic nature.
No, you was just desperate. As Adrian said, or as Amy said, who said that? Oh, Adrian. Adrian said you was desperate and delusional. Yeah. That part. Take these lessons to the young ladies. Take these lessons.
He flips the script, and he like goes off. He's like cussing, going off, like he shouldn't. Excuse me, I have hiccups. He shouldn't be calling you. If he has a question, he should call me, because I'm the one that's on the mortgage. He was like, and now it's going to be an issue. And I said, well, did you put the offer in with him or not? And he said, no, I did not put the offer in with him. I put the offer in with a friend of mine who is a realtor.
Wow. So you mean to tell me he got angry, pissed off because you talked to the realtor? That's one of the biggest red flags right there. So yeah, Adrian, I think you were right. Delusion and desperate.
So I can give him the business. So I did not hear from that realtor again. So I was just like, is the house under contract or is it not? He was like, yes, the house is under contract. This is how crazy things work out. About 3 days later, on Realtor.com, I'm looking at the house because I was trying to figure out in my mind how I'm going to decorate. It shows the house is under contract. So, show my boyfriend. My boyfriend was like, I told you he was under contract.
He already knew that house was under contract. And eventually he knew she would go look at it. So he's trying to, stall a little bit, you know what I mean? And he knew that he probably was going to say, you know what, well, that's all right, we're going to look for another one. It's all good. You know, as long as I still got that letter, that money, you know, on paper, that I can get whatever, we look for another one. What the hell?
He was like, did you not believe me? And
yeah, she decorated the house already in her mind. We're talking about feelings. Feelings. Whoa, feelings. Ladies, young ladies, don't go on just your feelings.
And I ain't had the heart to say, hell no, I didn't believe you. Like, it seemed too good to be true. But once I saw the house was under contract, I absolutely believe that, okay, this is under contract with him. Like, yeah, we're about to do inspection. We are about to move. And so we had driven by the house. The family still living there. So we had driven by the house. At this point, he was like, I want us to start looking for furniture so that way we can go ahead and order it. So when it's time to move, the furniture is ready because you know it's.
Oh, man, he hit her. He hit her with the boop bop. He hit her with the boop bop right on that square. Wow.
Takes like 6 to 8 weeks sometimes for furniture to be delivered if they don't have it in stock. Like he was very methodical and planning and saying this is what we need to do. So we started going to Home Depot, Lowe's, because we had.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about. Amy, that damn song. You know what I mean? And, hey, great minds think alike. I think everybody else was thinking the same thing. I should have had the song prepped so I can play it.
Had a printout of what the sellers were going to take. They were going to take the appliances. He had the printout. Let me be clear. He had the printout. So it said on there that they were going to take the appliances. So we needed to get a new stove, new refrigerator, new microwave, all that stuff. So we went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and I went ham. I chose all these new appliances, and here's where we get into the shopping.
Wow, so basically he had her in La La Land for a little bit, and she was there, mentally, emotionally. Her feelings was all involved. You know, the guy swept her off her foot, off her feet. He went out to actually pick her up and change her tire. He actually, I think he actually held her hands at the restaurant. Is that right? I think he went to the Red Lobster, one of the restaurants, and he held her hand. She never had nobody hold her hand that she dated. So you gotta think, as I said earlier, why, you know, if, you know, I'm not going to say she, like I said, she's not ugly. She's not an ugly woman or nothing like that. But she has to ask herself, she has to ask herself, why is this handsome, tall dude coming at me? And out of all the years in my life, I had no one come at me like this, talking about marriage, buying a house together, and all that. You know what I mean? So why me out of all people? You know what I mean? So, you know, be wise. You got to ask yourself these questions. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, yeah. Cheesecake Factory, yeah. But the thing about it is, he held her hand. That's something special. That's something like, you know, that is in the subconscious when, as she was younger coming up. These are on the checklist. This is the checklist now. She's going through this checklist, and the thing about it, like I said, the dudes that know this game and how to manipulate, they know your checklist because you're not the first one they dealt with these checklists and emotions. They know that.
Part 4.
Yep. Here we go.
So we go to Home Depot, we go to Lowe's. I'm choosing all these appliances. He's taking pictures of the SKU number, We had representatives helping us.
Amy, what you say? You said you hear, I forgot my wallet coming. An old trick in the book. Yeah, I understand. Real talk. Usually women do that.
And he basically explains to them, hey, we're buying a house. We should be closing sometime in June. Can we order this stuff now? Can I put a hold on it? Like, what can we do? Because we're not ready for delivery. I stood there as the Home Depot rep said, we can hold it in our warehouse. Like, you can buy something and we can hold it. People do it all the time, especially with COVID. So I watched him pay. I want to say it's about it was either $350 or $500. I watched him pay a deposit on a whole new set of appliances.
It's an investment. It's an investment. He may have a little dough, but he looking to invest to get more dough.
For them, and they were going to hold it until we were ready for delivery.
That's right, Deb. Don't let everybody touch your spirit. Facts.
Watch this. So I was like, okay, good deal. Like, we got the appliances. Next, let's go to Rooms to Go and Ashley Furniture and find actual furniture. So we went all around Rooms to Go. We went to Ashley Furniture. We went to American Signature. And I saw all these things that I wanted. Again, he's taking pictures of it. He was like, I can go online and order it. I didn't think anything of it because, again, I just saw that we held the appliances. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So April turns into May.
Now this is like 2 months, right? We talking March. She started meeting him. She met him in March. March the 7th. Now this April going into May. This is almost a month and some change, right? A month and some change, almost 2 months. Wow, early. And they looking for furniture. They looking for furniture for a house that they're going to buy together and going to get married.
May 2020 comes. This is where things start to get a little interesting.
It's May.
May comes, and obviously we had not done inspection.
Another red flag.
And I'm asking him all the time, what's the deal with the house? He was like, oh, because of COVID, they're trying to get someone to do the inspection. But the guy that they had, it was always something. The guy they had caught COVID, so they're going to have to get somebody else. And he's like 15 houses backed up, so it'll be a while.
Why do you think she's ignoring these signs right here? Since you've been listening, why do you think she's ignoring some of these little signs? Put your comment in the comment board. What's your answer? What's your perspective? What's the reason she's ignoring these signs? Okay, so Adrian said because she's gullible. Adrian said also, duh, there is no home. Amy says, seeing she got hit with a narcissist hardball. Amy also said, did you know if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they cause you brain damage? Scary facts. All right, I hear you. Amy also said, desperate for love. Adrian said, in need of love. All right.
So at this point in May, I know, crazy. In this point in May of 2020, I started recording audio diaries. I don't know why. It was something just made me just start recording my thoughts. And
what do you think made her start recording her thoughts? Something just made her start doing it. I don't know why. She knew why. Because she knew this Negro was lying. She knew that he was lying. So she wanted to have some recordings of memory, so this way she feels she won't be duped, so she can catch him in something and say, no, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she know why she was recording. She making herself believe that. She's very intelligent. Don't get it twisted. She's not stupid by far. She's wise.
An audio diary, and I still have them. And I would save them by the date, and I would just start talking about what's on my mind. So I was like, I knew there was something was nagging me, like, but I kept pushing it out of my mind. I was like,
you heard it for yourself. Something was, pushing at him. Something was coming at me. I just kept pushing it away. She kept pushing the red flag away. The flag was coming in her face like this. She was like, another flag. Another flag. Another flag. Go. Another flag. Get that. Because she was desperate. That's why.
So this is what I reminded myself. You saw him pay for the appliances.
Mm-hmm.
You know the house is under contract.
Right.
You know that he told you that he's the one who put the house under contract.
Right.
Why would, I remember saying to myself, why would he lie about that?
You see how she's telling herself something to believe, even though she know deep down inside she has a, intuition that something ain't right, but she making herself believe this. It's okay.
So easy to verify. Why would he lie about that? Have you caught him in any other lie? And at the time, the answer was no. So I really was like, maybe you just aren't used to a guy who actually does what he's supposed to do. Like, I was questioning myself and then answering my own question. So
there it is. Questioning herself, but answering her own questions. As Adrian said, she knew exactly what was going on. She just wanted to be real. She wanted to be in a relationship, I guess. She just wanted to be real so bad and convince herself. Yeah, she wanted to convince herself. And that's exactly what she did. She had no problem with doing that.
So, inspection didn't happen. Around mid-May, I found out I was pregnant.
Hold on. Is this the second? This is the second house, or is this still the same house? Oh, okay. Inspection didn't happen, okay, and she got pregnant. So you mean to tell me you met a dude? She didn't say the condom broke. You met a dude that's been a month and some change, and you're going raw, heavy raw. You don't know this dude from Adam because he fixed your tire. You're convinced this is the guy. He held your hand walking to Cheesecake Factory or I think it was Cheesecake Factory or Red Lobster one. Now you believe this is the one. And now you're pregnant. As my boy Kevin Samuel said, you can't make this shit up. Yeah.
When I found out I was pregnant, he was ecstatic and I was like, oh shit. The reason why I was oh shit is because number one, I'm plus size. Number two, because of my age, I felt like it was probably gonna be a high risk pregnancy. And I wasn't married.
Now, I said she was a little heavy, she cute. She said plus size. So she already know the risks of getting pregnant at this age. Also, you know what? Let me just go ahead and let this keep playing. I want to say something humble weight, all right?
And that nagged. I cannot tell y'all how much it nagged. There was a lot of internal struggle in between. My family didn't even know that he had moved in.
That's because she knew that it was wrong. She was embarrassed to let anyone know that this man who she just met is up in her house and pregnant. Because remember, she talked about her boundaries. That's why I tell some young brothers, you can't believe everything a woman or some women say. I tell women, you can't believe everything women say, because one day they thinking like this and then the next day they thinking like that. You can't believe it. Swift and changeable. When the wind blow, there go their mind. So she's embarrassed. Knowing the red flags, you don't want to tell somebody that you did this and did that, and they're going to look at you like, wow, you stupid. Because she know deep down inside, she feel bad. She knows she made a mistake. But because the feeling feels so good, I'm going to say that one more time. Because of the feeling, it feels so good that she ignore the reality. Red flags.
At this point, I told them, that I was pregnant. Went to the doctor. Everything looked good. But again, because it was COVID, he couldn't go in with me into the actual room. So, doing any sort of ultrasound, doing the blood test, because my HCG levels were really high. So the doctor was like, hey, it might be twins. We don't know yet. You're still kind of early, along. They gave me a due date. Due date was January 26th of 2021. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. The hormones was jumping like rabbits. That's right, Amy. That's right, Adrian. Yeah, real talk. Deborah, what you saying? Being embarrassed kept her there longer than she should have. I agree. That's a fact. That's a fact. The embarrassment does that to some people. The fear, the embarrassment of being looked at as, because sometimes, unfortunately, some women can be very cruel. So she tell her women friends and women family members, some women can be very cruel. Oh, she dumb. She stupid. She this. She that. She don't think her. She think her fat ass gonna get. What's wrong with her? Yeah, some women are cruel like that, and that's a fact.
May found out I was pregnant, so there was now more of a push into we gotta get the house. We gotta get the fuck up out of here. I'm not having a baby in Riverdale. Okay.
Now she getting demanding. because she already knows she feel bad about the situation. Now she's getting angry. That's how sometimes they'll get. Sometimes you'll have a friend that may be like this, and you don't know why she is angry at you for no reason at all in your mind. But this is the type of stuff that goes on while they be in their head, while they be in their feelings. So young ladies, take this as a lesson. Keep listening.
Hey, nothing against Riverdale, but I ain't having a baby in Riverdale. So we need to find out what's going on with this house. And so he was on top of it. He had an answer for everything. He was like, I'm gonna call and find out what's going on, blah blah blah. He then magically told me about a week later, oh, they're going to do an inspection on the house like in 2 days. So I was just like, okay. Keep in mind, I'm taking his word for it.
There she go, taking his word for it again. Feelings. Whoa, feelings. Feelings. Whoa, feelings. Yeah, man. Them feelings that get you all caught up.
His word for all this. So he's like, they're going to do an inspection. Once we get the inspection report back, then we will know what we are going to be responsible for. What are we getting ourselves into? So, I guess they did an inspection. He showed me an inspection report.
She showed him another letter. He showed her another letter. He showed her the paperwork. He showed her paperwork. Now, I don't want to be like clowning, but I just want to just show you how you can be bamboozled if you don't be careful. This day and time is hustlers out there that's really good at what they do, and they look the part. So to the young ladies, you have to definitely be careful.
The only thing that they said that the roof had just recently been replaced, which I remember he was very happy about. And the issues that there were for the house were minor. It was not a bad, because we did have a discussion about it. He was like, it's nothing that we can't handle. Then
could you guys do me a favor that's here? Just share the page a few times real quick. I appreciate it. And like the page. I appreciate it if you can do that for me. Just please share this page and like it a few times. Thank you. If you have YouTube, please go to David Adams Podcast and type in, just press, what is that? Subscribe. Press subscribe. David Adams Podcast on YouTube. Thank you.
he said that we were set to close the end of May. We were set to close the end of May. He told me it was going to be a virtual closing. You're probably like, what the hell is a virtual closing? Because again, he's saying because of COVID, people are not closing in the office. They're doing a virtual closing where you would need to electronically sign the paperwork. This is what he's telling me.
And that sounds good. COVID, you can't, go into certain places because things are shut down. That was a very good excuse, reason for having paperwork or anything, electronic or virtual.
And so he was like, we're set to close like just before Memorial Day.
All right, getting close.
And so for some reason, again, there's still that nagging part. For some reason, I didn't start packing. Anyone that knows me will tell you I hate moving. I've done it enough in my life. I hate moving. But I did not start packing up that house at all. I was just like, you know, I'm pregnant. My body was changing so fast.
And her conscience was bothering her the whole time. If you would like to call in and give your take on this situation, the number is on the screen. I'm going to allow you to call in, and I would like to hear your take on this. But this is pretty deep, man. This is pretty deep. Call in the number 973-433-5666, please. Who want to call in and give your take on this situation? I appreciate it if you can. I would love to hear a brother call in, but if a sister would like to call in, please call that number in, and we will hear your take and your perspective on this situation. All right? You can call anytime. The number is there. So we can listen real quick again.
And it was like, I can barely keep my eyes open half the day. And so, no, I didn't start packing. And I remember I did record, again, I was recording audio diaries just about every day. When something didn't sit right, I would verbally record it in the audio diary because I was like, I don't know what it is, but there's something. That was the theme of our relationship. I don't know what it is, but I know there's something.
Now, if that's not delusion, I don't know what the hell it is. She kept telling herself this. She literally kept telling herself, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something. You know what the hell it is. And he knew too. He definitely seen that square on your forehead.
And so I remember talking to myself in my little prayer closet, because that's where I would do my recordings. And I remember thinking, what if we don't get this house? Like, what if we don't get, what if he's lying? But again, there goes that thought process of, why would he lie about this? Like, who makes up that they're buying a house when in fact they're not? And then he's showing you all this paperwork. Like, come on, you can't be that jaded that you don't even believe what's in front of you. All right? So now we're going to go into part 5.
Jeez. Wow. Man, listen. If you can call in real quick, let me know how you feel about this particular situation. Please put it on the comment board or just call in. Do me that favor real quick. Do me the favor and please share the page again. If you shared it one time, share the page a few more times. I appreciate it if you can do that. Just share it 3 or 4 more times. Thank you, man. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, so call in 973-433-5666 and let me know, how do you feel about what she said about how she know what it is. I mean, she don't know what it is. She can't put a hand on it basically, but it's something. What do you feel about that? I'm waiting for your call, and we're going to continue. There's a lot of chapters here, and we're going to see if we can get through a few of them.
Okay, part 5.
Here's 5, y'all.
Did I marry? So I'm questioning all this stuff in my head out loud on my audio diaries, and then once again, I'm like, but look at what he's giving you. Like, he's paying. It wasn't a question about money. It was just a question of, are we really about to move into this house? And keep in mind, he's paying all the household bills. He still is. So we were supposed to close before Memorial Day. We didn't. There was an excuse. There was always an excuse with him.
Flags.
An excuse. And flags. I didn't know enough about the process.
Flags everywhere. Flags everywhere.
To question stuff because I really wasn't involved the way I should have been. And it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I'm pregnant with a lot of anxiety. And if I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, I was not expecting that I was probably going to have a healthy pregnancy.
Wow.
Because I was stressed. And what I was stressed about is I didn't know what was going on because I wasn't really involved the way that a normal relationship would be involved.
Once again, I love her transparency. I mean, I love her to be, her honesty, and she's very articulate in expressing what she feel and what she remember. Damn, her memory is banging.
Just being honest. So we did not close we moved now into June. This is now going into June.
Ooh, May went quick. June now. No close.
Around June 5th, I looked at the house again on realtor.com.
About 4 months.
I don't know what made me do it other than, and I don't mean to sound super spiritual, I know that people are like, you may or may not believe in God, but I'm telling you, I believe with all my heart, probably the Holy Spirit was like, look at that house on realtor.com. So I looked at the house on realtor.com. This was around June 5th.
Yeah. The Holy Spirit told her to look at the house but not look at the man. Please share this page because there will be someone possibly that will see this and learn something from it that's younger than you or possibly older than you that may be on their way and stepping into these moccasins. So please do me the favor, share the page 2 or 3 times. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not just one time. Share it a few times. Share it a few times. Thanks.
It showed that the house was off the market. And I remember being like, okay, wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because ex-husband is telling me we're about to close on the house. We're about to close. It's our house. We got furniture, da-da-da.
For those just chiming in, this is about the young lady who felt like she was bamboozled. Met a guy on dating sites, and he been lying a lot, and she's seen all the red flags, but she ignored them all, and she didn't really do nothing about them. She just stayed, recording stuff and all that good stuff. But yeah, she's just telling her story.
He's also telling me that he's been in contact with the realtor, his friend, who was telling him, this is what was happening next. Here's what's going on. So the guy that we initially worked with apparently is completely out of the picture. But again, I was not heavily involved. So I'm just like, let me look at the house. I see it's off market. What the fuck does off market mean? Like, now I'm really freaking out.
Oh, she really freaking out now. Oh, she ain't freak out when she got pregnant, when she was having unprotected sex with a man, and she only met him. It's only been 2-3 months tops.
So it shows the name of the real estate agent for the seller. I don't remember her name. I called her and I said, my I said my husband and I, even though I wasn't married.
See that? What did she say? My husband and I, even though I wasn't married. This is the delusion that people talk about. That, some people don't want to accept that you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, and you're in it heavy. Only you think these things and feel these things, but the reality of it is not real. You forcing something that is not real.
My husband and I were looking at this house at 123 Main Street, and we really wanted to tour it, but now I'm showing it's off market. Is it not available? Or, I pulled that card. And she was like, oh, no, ma'am. The home closed yesterday. It closed June 4th. Again, there are certain dates I just remember. And I said, oh, it closed June 4th? I was like, really? And she said, yes, ma'am. She was like,
I was like, really? She know damn well. Oh, man.
My sellers sold the house, and I was like, oh, man, okay. Well, I said, my husband and I really wanted, we love the pictures of it, and we're getting ready to start a family, so I would have loved to have been able to, have the opportunity.
Feelings, whoa, feelings.
To see it. I asked her something. I don't remember the specific question I asked her. And I know why I asked the question, because I was anticipating that my boyfriend at the time was going to have some sort of excuse. So I asked her something about the buyers. And I remember, and somehow, again, forgive me, I don't remember the question I asked her. But the answer was that it was an older white.
I don't remember the question I asked her, but the answer she remembers. Let that sink in. I don't remember the question that I asked her, but the answer she remembers. Something wrong. I'm sorry.
Older white couple. So I get off the phone with her. I record an audio diary, and in the audio diary, I specifically say, okay, there is no house.
And
he's going to have to get out of this lie somehow.
And
because now I realize, at the very least, he was lying about him being the one who was under contract.
Really?
I knew enough about that. So I was like, what, how is he going to get out of this? Again, I've listened to the audio diary in 2024. I literally said in that audio diary, how is he going to get out of this lie? And I was trying to think of ways on how he's going to do it. And something said to me, because I say it on the audio diary, I said,
wow. She actually recorded her own answers and questions. She actually recorded her telling herself what he's going to do, but stayed in it. Listen up to the young women.
He's going to say it's a bad deal, and he's going to say he wants to pull out. Y'all keep in mind, I am pregnant.
Wow.
So I had a decision to make.
I feel for her though. I do feel for her. Because he definitely was doing the bamboozle. He definitely was doing the boop bop.
As ugly as this decision was, I made the decision, you're about to have a baby with this man. He's paying all the household bills. Let him get out of the lie. And that's what I did. I purposely made the decision that I knew he was going to come back, and I knew he was going to give me some bullshit on why he couldn't buy the house, because he didn't know that I knew that house is already sold.
Okay.
The house is already sold. And this is the part where I said, I'll be honest, even though it's gonna make me look bad, because most women in their right mind would have been like, I'm out. And
Now, listen to those words. She said, most women in their right mind would have been out, which says she know for a fact that she is not in her right mind. Real talk. She realizes that she's not in her right mind. And again, I feel for her. You know, and yeah, this is not, this happens often. This is not something that's far-fetched. This happens a lot of times, and I can guarantee you that some women don't want to talk about that, don't want to bring that up because it hurts them so bad and it makes them feel embarrassed, you know? Kimberly said, I think that she didn't value herself. And I definitely see that in even how she's talking. She definitely don't value herself. Yeah, I see that. And the thing about it is, he's seen that too. Those are the type of women that some men who are manipulative go after. They want those type of women just to have steps to get to the goal that they have in mind. They may have a certain goal that woman can help her get there. Because no man really comes out in 2 weeks and say, I think I'm gonna buy a house in your area. And yeah, let's get together a little bit. You know, I think I want to, you know, instead of buying a house for me, I'll buy a house for both of us. How about that? And get married. That didn't ring a bell?
I didn't. I purposely made the decision that I knew he was going to come back, and I knew he was going to give me some bullshit on why he couldn't buy the house, because he didn't know that I knew that house is already sold. The house is already sold. And this is the part where I said, I'll be honest, even though it's gonna make me look bad.
Yeah. She's being honest now, but at the time, she wasn't telling nobody nothing. She even said that she didn't tell her family anything. And that's sad. I feel bad for her. What you say, Amy? Amy said Dillo because I went through it, because I knew high school. I trusted him. We said if we were unhappy, we'd be adults and walk away. He could have told me the sky was yellow and I would have believed him. Okay. The power of emotions. And I've said this plenty of times, you know, women should not allow, it's easier said than done, not allow their emotions to control them. When your emotions control you, your judgment is cloudy and you make a lot of bad decisions, mistakes, and things like that. To the young ladies, yeah, listen up. Go to YouTube. Please press subscribe on David Adams Podcast. Please like the page real quick. And for those who've been listening, please share. If you want to call in, I'm staying here for a little while. If you want to call in, you can go ahead and grab the number off the screen. And instead of giving your perspective on the comment board, call it in. And we all can hear what you're saying. I would love to hear you call in. 973-433-5666. This is a very interesting and deep situation that's come to the forefront, and something that maybe a lot of people in the world is going through this. I mean, we have a lot of single women in the world. How many times you dealt with a situation and you know deep down inside you was duped you was your money was taken or stolen, or you was lied to about a lot of different things, and you feel so bad about it that you don't even want to tell nobody about it. Yeah. How often that happen? You know, women that's actually out there dating, they just serial daters. You know? How many times has your heart been involved and you know, you figured this is the one because he checks off the box, all the boxes that I had built up in my head for all these years. And now I meet this guy and boom, I got him. And it don't be what you expect. How many times? Call in 973-433-5666. What type of advice you have for a young lady that may be going through this or on their way into going through this?
Because most women in their right mind would have been like, I'm out, and I didn't. So, sure enough, he came home. He didn't really say anything that day. The next day, I asked him about the house, and he said, my friend, the realtor, he was like, I'm talking to him because something's going on with the interest rate. And when he said that, I felt so much relief because I knew that I had been prepared for he's going to give me some bullshit. So
she said she had so much release because she knew he was going to give us some bullshit. Wow. Amy says nothing is worse than wasting time. That's a fact. Yeah. Wasting time. So evidently she was digmatized.
When he said there's something with the interest rate, I said, you know what? If this is literally what I said, y'all. If the interest rate isn't good, then we shouldn't move there.
What's good with you, Leslie? I don't know if you've seen this situation, but let me know if you have, yes or no, and I would like your take on it. Basically, it's a young lady who been duped by a young man who she met, who she basically fell for in 2 weeks. And he promised, he basically said he's going to marry her. He's going to buy a house for her and him. At first, he was going to buy a house for himself in her area. And come to find out, it seemed like nothing's going the way it should be going as far as getting this house right now. That's where we at.
We should probably let this house go. We should cancel whatever furniture we ordered or, you know, appliances, and let's just look for another house. I said I would like to be moved before the end of the year. I said I really don't want to be 9 months pregnant moving into a house. I would like to be done with this before then. And the way I said it was so calm, and he was like, okay, he was like, I'm gonna call the friend, the realtor.
Oh, Amy, you didn't catch that part? She found out she was pregnant. Yeah, she found out she was pregnant after 3-4 months. So she been having sex with the guy, unprotected sex, unprotected. You know, I know a guy who actually has a store, right? Speaking of unprotected sex, he has a store, and you know what he told me that he sell? At one time, he was selling all types of clothes and pants and, you know, sneakers and all that stuff, right? He was doing really good years ago. And eventually times changed. He started selling pajamas and sweatpants and stuff like that, flip-flops. That started making money. And then eventually he started selling condoms. You know, that was making money at one time back then. And as time was going on, eventually the condoms started slowing down. He said he don't even sell that many condoms. You know what he sell more of now? I was shocked. This was last week we were talking. He sell more of the, what are those, Plan Bs? The next day pill, he sell more of those. He getting paid. He said he's charging like $50-something for the next day pill for young people. Yeah. Real talk. Let's go on with this story.
And tell him I'm backing out of the house. And I'm going to see if I can get my earnest money back. And I remember looking at him. I was standing in the kitchen, and I cocked my head to the side, and I said, okay, get your earnest money back. And let's find another house. And so that's how that first house fell through.
Oh, I feel you, Amy. You was helping me to fill in, get Leslie caught up. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do me the favor, like the page, Leslie. If you could share it, I appreciate it. This is to help the younger generation, the younger women that's coming up, and possibly the elder ones as well, but definitely to help younger women to see red flags from examples of an elder lady right in our face.
So, fast forward, I keep looking at this to see how much time I have, because they only give you 10 minutes. So this is part 5, part 6 is coming up, but subsequently what ends up happening the next week, which is mid-June, I was at work, and I started cramping, started bleeding. And at this point, my doctor, I had just had an ultrasound, so I went to work, and I'm going to see if I can get my earnest money back. And I remember looking at him. I was standing in the kitchen, and I cocked my head to the side, and I said, okay, get your earnest money back. And let's find another house. And so that's how that first house fell through. So, fast forward, I keep looking at this to see how much time I have, because they only give you 10 minutes. So this is part 5, part 6 is coming up, but subsequently what ends up happening the next week, which is mid-June, I was at work, and I started cramping, started bleeding, and at this point my doctor, I had just had an ultrasound earlier that day, so I went to work because the ultrasound was fine. I went to work, and the cramping and the bleeding started, and I started crying because I kind of knew what was going on. And my doctor had called me and told me that when they did the ultrasound, they did not see a heartbeat. So she was like, this pregnancy is not going to be viable. So I'm crying and hysterical, and now we're going to get into part 6. Okay, so this is part 6 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So, where we left off. So, obviously, my doctor had called and told me there was no heartbeat, the pregnancy was not viable at that point, and I was cramping and spotting at work. Went into my best friend's office and immediately started crying. She was like, what's going on? And I said, I told her what the doctor said, and she grabbed her keys, grabbed her purse, and was like, let's go, I'm taking you home. On my way home, I called my boyfriend and told him what the doctor said, and he was like, I'll meet you at home. So he was coming from Duluth, went straight home. And so about 24 or 48 hours later, I had a doctor's appointment. And my doctor gave me 3 options. First option, let everything happen naturally. Your body will expel the fetus on its own. Second option, you can take a pill which will induce expelling the fetus at home. The pill basically will cause you to contract and...
Wow. Leslie says stress kills. And it looks like this woman is in a situation or went through a very stressful situation to deal with all of that, what she's dealing with mentally, emotionally. And she did mention around the time she got pregnant, her anxiety was rocking. Her anxiety was through the roof. So not knowing, not sure if she had anxiety prior to the pregnancy, and maybe she did, because the way she's talking and how she actually is recording every detail of what's going on in the situation, details, recording them just to memorize them, and how she expressing everything that she has gone through on video, it shows great signs of trauma. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Call in if you want to call in your perspective, because this is a very deep situation, man. This is heavy. This is heavy. So, be mindful. Deborah says, remember, her levels were high in the beginning. Exactly. You're right. The levels were high in the beginning. Amy says, why wouldn't they tell her that at the appointment about the heartbeat? Poor woman. Yep, let's go on.
Expel. The third option was to go into the hospital and do a D&C. I did not want to do a D&C because I did not want to be in a hospital with COVID going on. And for whatever reason, I did not do the option to let it happen naturally. So I chose to do the pill. His birthday was June 17th. My ex's birthday was June 17th. So the decision was made, we're going to celebrate his birthday that day, go out to eat. And then that night I would take the pill because we both were off from work the next 2 or 3 days. So went out to eat, to try to celebrate as best we could, and then took the pill that night. That night was the most traumatic, excruciating pain I've ever put my body through. I do not recommend any woman, prayerfully you don't have to go through that, but I don't recommend taking that pill. If you don't have to, don't do it. I spent the whole night in the bathroom just crying in so much pain. I couldn't take, they gave me a narcotic, I couldn't take it because I found out I was allergic to it, so it was causing me to like projectile vomiting, and it was a mess. So, and he was right there, you know, he was scared that he needed to take me to the ER, but in the morning, the pain kind of subsided. So, about 72 hours later, I had another doctor's appointment, where the purpose of this appointment was to do an ultrasound to see if everything had passed. Everything did not pass. So because of that, my doctor was like, we're going to have to do a D&C. My D&C was scheduled for the first week of July. My boyfriend, my ex, was going to take me. That was always the plan. 2 days before my procedure, he comes home and tells me that he is up for a promotion. He's up to be promoted to VP. Because of this, the president of the company, is coming in, and it was going to be this huge business meeting he had to go to. The business meeting was scheduled for the day of my surgery.
Red flag. Always something. Listen up, young ladies.
And so I'm throwing a fit because I was like, you there's no way you can do that meeting. Like, I need you to take me to the hospital. And
that pill is a serious thing, and I'm telling you, they putting them in the communities heavy. It's not by mistake. It's definitely by design. Don't get it twisted. See, they know that era is here where they push the narrative of women can do whatever they want as far as sex is concerned. And yes, you can. They pull the fear of getting pregnant by anybody away. They pull that away from, the generations that's coming up. Have sex anytime you want. Be free. Do what you want. Do your thing. Because we got a pill for you. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant now. Nobody never know. Who's going to know? Who's going to know? Take this pill. Ooh, be done. It's all part of the agenda. But anyway, this is a sad situation right here.
All this other stuff. And so he offered to have his sister take me to the hospital. Apparently his sister lived in Douglasville. I was like, no, because I've never met her. Like, I'm not having a stranger take me to the hospital. No, this is a private situation. I don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. So my aunt had offered to take me, and then my friend who took me home from work had offered to take me. So at that point, we get into an argument because he's like, my sister is, you about your family, so why can't she step in? And I was like, no, because I don't know her. Period. Mm-hmm. I don't know her. So my friend offers to take me to the hospital because I was all distressed that he's saying he has a business meeting and he can't take me. So I remember being on I-75 on the connector on the phone with her crying because I was so embarrassed that he wasn't going to be the one to take me and that I was needing to rely on someone else to take me to the hospital in order to get a D&C done. And she was really great. She was like, girl, this is why you have a village. Like, it's okay. Things happen. The world is crazy right now. I will take you. You're going to be okay.
Do me a favor and please share the page 2 times. If the few people that's here right now, if you can share 2 times, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
So he did not take me to the hospital for my D&C. My friend did. She could not stay because of COVID protocol. So when they wheeled me into pre-op after I got checked in, I texted him and was just letting him know, hey, here's the update. I'm about to, I'm in pre-op. They're going to get me prepared to go back to the surgical ward or whatever. And the response I got was from his new executive assistant named David. Now, when he told me he was up for the promotion, he did tell me that...
Why his name had to be David?
That part of getting this new job would be that he would get an executive assistant named David. And he did tell me, I'm going to make sure that I inform David, if you get a text from this number, meaning from me, pull me out of the meeting because, my fiance's having...
Leslie, thank you so much for sharing 2 times. I appreciate you.
A procedure done, and I'm picking her up, so it's important that you come get me if it's something serious. So I text him, David responds. He said, yeah, Mr. Blah Blah told me that you are having a procedure done. If you need me to get him, I can go get him. He's in a meeting. Just let me know what you need. And I just said, no, don't bother him. I'm just giving an update that they're about to take me back. And David responds and says,
your father named David too, Les?
I'm so sorry you're going through this.
It's a famous name.
Please let me know if there's anything I can do. So I have the procedure. I wake up and I'm now in recovery. I should be in recovery 45 minutes up to an hour and a half. I wake up, first thing I ask, and I remember asking, is where is so-and-so? The nurse who was so sweet, she was like, everything went well. You're doing great. She said, we spoke to your fiance. He's on his way. So I said, okay, I kind of dozed back out, but I could still hear everything that was going on. I just could not keep my eyes open to save my life. So I hear her talk to the other nurse, and that's when she said, Dr. So-and-so called her fiance and his executive assistant picked up. And the executive assistant said that he was in a business meeting and that, you could relate to him what you need to say, and he'll tell the fiance. And my doctor was like, hell no, HIPAA, I need to speak to him. So apparently my fiance called the doctor back about 30 minutes later. And the doctor informed him she'll be ready to be discharged in about an hour. You can make your way and come pick her up.
All right. We're going to continue the next episode tomorrow, possibly. Maybe. But we have another thing going on tomorrow, as a matter of fact, about 7:30. We're going to have Pastor J. Allen back again sometime tomorrow, so you can tune into that. We're going to be talking about, how to handle losing a loved one or loved ones. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Please tune in. I appreciate you guys for chiming in tonight, liking the page and sharing the page. Much love and respect. Tune in tomorrow about 8 o'clock with Pastor J. Allen. Peace and blessings. Much love and respect. Thank you for tuning in to D.A.P.